Hello everybody and welcome to this tournament playthrough video for Pro and Expert Division with variable wins. In this video I will go through all the holes that you will be playing in the tournament. Follow along with the playthrough information that you can find here on the side. That's club information, ball information, also when it comes to elevation, club distance and stuff like that. If you don't want to follow that, you don't have to if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. Now, let's enjoy the video and go to hole number one. There will most definitely be some hole-in-ones on this hole, and the reason I do believe that is because we now have so many different golf balls in the game that even if we do have a headwind, we will still be able to easily get over the water and get the ball to green. And if you then have some luck, if you roll down at the correct place, then the hole-in-one is definitely there. Max plus 10 using max overpower with a slower needle to not have to use a bunch of topspin here. Great left is going to still be fine, which is great. And you can see how much fairway we do have to play on where we land with our first bounce. With a perfect ball, we would have been kind of close, but as the green is downhill, it's all about the speed if you're going to give yourself a chance for a hole-in-one. And obviously hit perfect, that would be great. This obviously play here is for this particular wind angle. It could definitely vary slightly if you have a different wind angle, something that it's important to have in mind. Don't be afraid of using a better power ball for either a slower needle or to make sure that you don't have to use that much overpower if you do have a headwind. Hole number two, and here we're gonna play with our Sniper 9 Plus. And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna set up with a white ring to the left by the bunker, top of blue ring by the frame. So it's an easy setup in that way. We can also use the ball guideline as a reference if you would like that, which is centered into the bright green square. Row 6 back, 1 right. Here, if you do not have the Sniper level 9 plus to have the 6 backspin, you can set up with the Sniper and then you can swap to the Guardian once you have found the position. Adjustment is going to be max plus 20. And we do adjust, center the ball and hit perfect. What we're looking for is to have wind between 7 and 8 miles per hour as per ultimate. So we would recommend to use and switch between a wind 3 and wind 4 ball. It gets up the hill there on the right, catch the slope down to the pin and drops dead center for a lovely hole-in-one here on hole number 2. For hole number 5, we are lucky here to get some tailwind, and then we're gonna push, because we do want to get into short iron range. Stretch out to max in this case, and I'm looking to have the bullseye just very close to the rough line. Release, and then you adjust max plus 10 power 3 ball settings. Now, 6 bars of topspin, 3 bars of right spin. I'm not going to use any type of push-up here. I'm just going to use max overpower with a slow needle. Full curl to the right as well. The idea is to cut the corner very close to the tree to get the ball to roll as far down the fairway possible. And from this range here, now we're gonna position ourselves to play a short iron towards the pin. Let's say that you do have a headwind of tee, you're gonna have to bounce before the rough in the bunker and just lay up and get yourself a wood club towards the pin. Second shot, you can see here now we're playing with a short iron. Here you can see in the info box that I do have medium distance as club distance, but it's going to be somewhere between medium and maximum distance. Obviously it could be around minimum distance. Well, it kind of depends on what type of distance you have on off tee. 10% elevation, and once again make sure to read the club distance correct. If you do have a tailwind of the second shot like we have here, leave the ball guideline slightly short, otherwise it's a big risk of you coming in too hot, bounce off the pin and out, and that's never something we do want to do. Perfect ball. And we bounce on the frames as we want to, but we just burned the right edge a little bit too much in over adjust, or a little bit over adjustment. However though, hole number 5 here in the 5th anniversary tournament offers a very good chance for an albatross. Hole number 8 is an interesting par 3, even more interesting nowadays when we do have so many different golf ball types, all from precision balls to a lot of different win 5 balls and win 4 balls with more side spin, etc. But this way that I'm playing here now will be the most simple and also the most consistent way of not making a mistake, because obviously you have the skinny rough bumps, you have backspin boost shots you can do on green, etc. Aiming at the top of +0 and with yellow rain by the rough line with some spins, mid +10, which is 1-1, using some overpower there as well in the end to compensate for the headwind. And the reason I do compensate with that instead of adjusting more is because I'm adjusting very close to the backsline. Coming into the green, getting just right of the pin, which is unfortunate. Obviously we wanted to drop, but we're getting ourselves a safe birdie in the end. Take your game to the next level with our ultimate tournament text guides for expert and master division of the Bluegrass Classic Tournament, full 9 or full 18 of the Juniper Point, an old classic which I truly enjoy myself to play. In both of the divisions, we are creating free-to-play ball alternatives and paid ball alternatives for you as a player to enjoy. Have in mind that having a guide actually saves you money if you're trying to be competitive, because it will remove the necessary extra practices and therefore you're not spending more balls and stuff like that. So use our guides, try it out, and see for yourself how it will improve your game. Link in the description down below, patreon.com/golfclashtommy, or you scan the QR code here on the screen. Hole 9 is a very difficult one, especially when it comes to headwind. And now we strongly advise you to play with a power 4 plus ball, this to avoid having to go with a lot of overpower, especially for the lower level clubs. Now we're setting up at the bottom of +9 with a POC 5 plus, a POC 4, bottom of +15. We're adding the spins, second bounce centered on the left fairway pad. A POC 5 plus adjusts max +10 P4, a POC 4 plays max +15 minus 0.1. One ring plus whatever we adjust into, so if you don't adjust into overpower, we use one ring. And then we get down the fairway, looking to be somewhere between 370 and 380 yards. So it's mainly the drive where we do need some power. The second shot, we do have a lot of room, and therefore we are continuing playing with our sniper. We're going to, in this case, use our landing position plus yardage here as our reference. You can see here that we're using 2.5 backspin and 2 left spin. And we want, if anything, favor right side of the hole. Adjust is gonna be 20% elevation with 68% slider from +3 and 4 with sniper 10, which is the same as +5 and 6 for sniper 9. Just before circle drop and plus whatever we adjust into, if anything, it's gonna be mainly nothing, but if we get to adjust into OP, we need to obviously use that as well. Very difficult par 5 here with headwind. Play with any power 4 plus ball, side spin 2 plus, wind 3 plus, so there is loads of balls to choose between, but difficult one nonetheless. For hole number 4, here you can play with any power 3 plus, side spin 2 plus, wind 3 or wind 4 ball. Start at the top of +10 for a POC 5 plus, and for a POC 4 you start at max P3 line, which is +16. 3.5 top spin and 2 left spin. Finding the position with the ball guideline as shown. And now either you push the rings or you zoom out so you get a clear view for the adjustment. So adjust max plus 10 P3. So even if you play with a P4 or P5 ball, you are adjusting with P3 numbers all the way through. Center the ball and hit perfect. Bounce on the fairway and rolls nicely straight down the fairway up to approximately 360 yards. Second shot, we play this one with minus 10% elevation. This because, as you can see, we're playing it uphill. So we are using one backspin and playing rings from min. And now, have in mind here that we do have a special table in the guide to make it as simple as possible to follow when it comes to the rings from min. And always when it comes to rings from min, try to speed it up a little bit, because pushing up is and can, I would say, can be a little time consuming sometimes. So now the standard thing is that we're pushing up somewhere between 13 to 17 rings, and then we shall always play 15% slider and with then minus 10% elevation P3 numbers. We're pulling over the bullseye as well, as per default. That's what we always do here when it comes to the shot. Now center the ball, hit perfect, and this should be a good chance to drop. Hole number 7, we are playing from the min line here when we do have a headwind and a crosswind. I would recommend to actually go for a rough bump if you do have a tailwind. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult as you will most likely be in between clubs. So here I'm using 2.9 right spin and a little bit of top spin. The spins will most definitely vary depending on what wind angle you have. And the aim point is once again at min line, red ring by the rough line. Pushing the rings because, you know, the hill slope or whatever we want to call it is definitely making it tough to pull the rings. Min, no elevation is what I'm adjusting in this particular video. And once again, you know, just because I'm adjusting that in this particular wind angle doesn't mean that that will be exact for other wind angles, etc. Bounce on the fairway, and the ball comes up onto the green and dropping almost dead center for the hole in one. If we do have a tailwind on hole number 1, we are going to send it and get ourselves to green. That could also be done if we do have a straight crosswind, but what complicates it is that when we do have a headwind, then we're going to have to lay up on the right hand side, playing an NMT with a P2 ball, adding spins, adjustment max plus 10 P3. Once we have adjusted, we're going to center the ball and hit perfect. So even if we did adjust into overpower, we are not adding any overpower in this situation. Bounces on the fairway, gets down nicely, and we want to keep ourselves to favor the left hand side on the fairway, because the second shot here now is going to be played from more or less min line. I'm putting mid in the info box due to the fact that it could vary if you have a great right or you're just aiming more right to not flirt with that rough. But the idea here is to go for a rough bump. This rough bump here is pretty big when it comes to playing with such an accurate club like the Grizzly. Obviously, having the correct adjustment from start is a massive help, and make sure to not add a bunch of additional OP or UP or something like that. That could cost you a lot. 10% elevation, and here it's all about what pin shake or fringe shake you have, or it's just true club distance. Perfect ball it is. We bounce into the rough, rolls down the green, and we're dropping this one dead center for a beautiful eagle here to start with on hole number 1. Hole number 9, generally pretty boring, where we do lay up on the left and then play ourselves down towards the green. But if there is a tailwind, you can push and get yourself into wedge range. And as we do have tailwind only for the California Ultimate Tournament, I wanted to display this type of play, which once again gonna have to be used some practice for this.
trying to obviously perfect it. Now I'm just pinging a ball, being a little bit lucky. Otherwise, if you're trying to lay up, I would play max plus 15 in terms of my club distance and adjustment. But here, getting ourselves to almost 500 yards, that will leave us a wedge, and obviously that will be making the albatross much more makeable than if we wouldn't be having that type of wind. So again, Hold 'em a Dine with tailwind is not as bad from the second tee. It's when you do get the headwind, you do get the crosswind when it's going to be very complicated. But in the end, you know, take advantage of the tailwind, enjoy, blast it. If you like, there's obviously risk with that too, that you get into the rough, you get into the sun, and then that might just end up in the eagle. But even though if you're blasting it, in my opinion, you shall have no problems at all to get yourself to the green in 2 to save the eagle.
Thank you everybody for watching this playthrough video with variable wins for Pro and Expert Division for the upcoming tournament. If you enjoyed it, don't hesitate to hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Good luck in the tournament.